So I'm on day 4 of 6 of my flamenco dance lessons. And it's about an hour south in Albuquerque from Santa Fe. So it's good drive time to talk to friends or listen to podcasts or what have you. So today, a friend from my teacher training called, and he knew I was moving to Santa Fe. I've only been here 3 weeks at the recording of this intro. And he was like, how's your heart? Because this person has known me over just a year. But when he first met me, my heart was pretty owie. And by the way, I was describing flamenco dancing and the people I'm meeting in Santa Fe and my love of engaging with art and culture and galleries and jewelry stores and dancing in the park and all the things. He's like, you're sounding really good. And it's true. And so as we go into this podcast with my dear friend of 15 years, the amazing Bryan Reeves, Bryan has a way of knowing, given we've been friends for so long, when I just need someone to, and quite often it happens on a podcast because we interview each other every single year. But he just has a way of really being present to when I need to cry, when I need to just be heard by someone who has some fucking depth. And I'm so grateful for his friendship. Over the years, I'd say I was top heavy on the difficulties, and he's like back end heavy on the difficulties, grief, let down. When we first met, there was a lot for me with, the custody battle and all of this. And as we start this interview, I think he said 18 reasons to grieve that he and Silvy have gone through just in the last 3 years. So the tables are turned. It's more my listening now, where I don't have to fix or say, oh, it's going to be fine, or any of those fakey fake things that really don't make us feel any better. It was a real pleasure to be able to receive him, hear him, feel him, not fix him, and also see each other in person. We met in person back in LA, but we were trying to think, have we seen each other in person in 10 years? Because we see each other on, the internet all the time on Zoom. So it was really good to look in his eyes and to be there through the connection. When a heart breaks, the season's subtitle, this 13th season, is Heart Broken Open. Not heartbroken, end of story, heart broken open. There's always something in there deeper. There's always a dormant capacity ready to awaken. There's always a place of deeper tenderness, care. And he goes into talking about surrender. I think when our heart breaks open, it's an act of surrender to stay present and not abort mission or abort your partner, and just be in the discomfort and see through surrender what arises. You're going to love also in this podcast the way he speaks of Silvy. It's just like starlight goes out of his eyes when he speaks of her and all these qualities. You're going to love that. And I'll do another video at the end of this, because there's going to be some incredible takeaways that we both encourage you to reflect on, integrate, and then act on. All right, enjoy this incredible podcast with Bryan Reeves. Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Season 13, Heart Broken Open, where intimacy is an inside job. Welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations, Season 13, Heart Broken Open, with one of my dear, dear friends. How we've decided 15 years.
Something like that.
A bit, about.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, amazing. So good to see you, Bryan with
Likewise.
a Y. Reeves. Let me read your bio to everybody so we know how impressive you are. A former U.S. Air Force captain, Bryan Reeves is now an international coach and blogger whose blogs, videos, online courses, and books have been experienced by over 30 million people in every country in the world except North Korea, apparently. He has worked and studied with the top spiritual teachers of our time, including Marianne Williamson, David Deida, Byron Katie, Eckhart Tolle, and others. And with a master's degree in human relations, he now coaches men and women to create thriving lives and relationships. Check out his amazing book. Do you have it with you?
I do, right here.
Okay.
Where do I show it?
There, I don't know.
I'll just
There it is.
point it at a camera.
Yes, perfect. Yes. Choose her every day or leave her. Yes, which I have read. Your beautiful book. And so your mission is to serve the world, one awakened man or illuminated woman, one thriving relationship at a time. Stunning. You can learn more at Bryan Reeves with a Y, Bryan Reeves. It's so good to see you. When was the last time we saw each other in person?
Honestly, I think it's been a long time, Allana. I don't know.
Like we see each other every year. We interview each other.
That's correct.
But on Zoom.
On Zoom. I think in person, I want to say, has it really been 8-10 years?
It's L.A. Was it L.A.?
Probably had to have been L.A.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I had met Silvy yet the last time we met in person. I don't know.
Did you come to my 47th birthday party?
What happened at that birthday party?
At Cheetah's?
Nope.
Okay. I think that might have been when you just met, because that would not have been a good move.
Exactly. Got the invite, and it was like, okay, not a good move to bring my new girlfriend.
Although she was totally welcome.
And I appreciate that, but correct, yeah.
Yeah. I think but that was probably like the last one. And then I exited quite quick after.
You did, yeah.
Town, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, first off, for being such a great friend.
Thank you.
And a great inspiration in your amazing relationship.
Thank you, likewise.
Yeah, and the work you do in the world. I love it.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was the last newsletter, but one of the last newsletters, you were talking about Michael Singer. Is when you were leaving LA?
Yeah, right.
Michael Singer, Surrender Experiment. Yeah. My formula for success was very simple. Do whatever is put in front of you with all your heart and soul, without regard for personal results. Do the work as though it was given to you by the universe itself. And this is the line, because it was.
Because it was.
Oh, it makes me cry every time.
Yeah.
That's your intro.
Okay. I mean, my wife and I, so the last, 5 years or so, really since the pandemic, we have just been confronted with so much loss and grief and upheaval. I mean, we counted a couple weeks ago 18 life events that we sometimes work with a therapist and together as a couple, and we were sharing with him, and he was like, even one or two of those, like estrangement from my father, that finally, really losing the relationship with my father once and for all. Silvy and I finding out we can't have a child together.
Yes.
18 events like that, 3 cross-country moves, uprooting, leaving behind friends and family, 18.
And then the fires in LA recently.
And then the frickin' fires in LA, the thing, and it's so crazy. What's so often difficult about also what we've been through. So, for example, I lost my father, but he's still alive. We lost a baby, though no baby had ever been born.
Right.
And these fires, we lost a home that we hadn't even yet moved into.
Yes.
So, it's so weird. There's a term for that called ambiguous grief.
Okay.
Which is, it's like it describes where no one's died,
but
yet there's a profound loss all the same. For example, a soldier goes missing.
Yeah.
Or somebody goes missing. There's no body. You don't know if they're dead. You don't know what but they're gone all the same. And or estrangement, similar family estrangement. They're fine. You know where they live. You know where they are. You're just estranged, right? And ambiguous grief, and it's a grief that a lot of, unless you've experienced it, if you lose a baby, look, people don't want to grieve that. They want to bypass that as quickly as possible. But at least people can understand. If you lose an actual child,
yes,
they have immediate, oh my God, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you discover you're as a couple, you're infertile, people, there's other options. That immediate
bypass the grief by saying that,
And that was one of the most devastating things I've ever experienced in my life, getting that news. I cried for 3 days when I found that out. And so, for the last 5 years, just over and over and over, and so many things. And so, I think I first read The Surrender Experiment, I don't know, 15 years ago,
Yeah,
maybe?
when it first came out, yeah.
A long time
Yeah.
ago.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Profoundly moved and inspired by it.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, is life calling me to practice?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the alternative is I just suffer.
Correct.
And I descend into despair and resentment towards life, God, whatever. Whoever's doing this to me, I shake my fist at the sky and go, how could you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's no way to live.
Yeah.
Or I blame, I don't know, my wife, or I blame the president, whichever, pick one, whatever.
Yeah.
No way to live.
No.
I can't, I don't want to live there. I'm not good for my wife in that place. I'm not good for the men and women I work with. I'm not
good for yourself.
Definitely not good for myself.
Yeah.
So, this, in a way, what's so fascinating? I was talking about this with someone the other day. It's like, I say humans, certainly men, as a man I can speak, but we so long for freedom, this idea of freedom. And it's this big, I don't even think we really know what we're talking about for the most part. We really don't. But
it sounds good.
It sounds good. It sounds like, I get it. It's like on a soul intuitive level, freedom, great. But most of us don't really know what the hell we're talking about, or what we think will give us the freedom we crave, right? Mm-hmm. But what's fascinating about this idea of surrender is it's actually, and I think is why it's also the scariest. It's so scary because it's talk about the ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
When I truly surrender to, not as a cynical giving up.
Right.
Like, I have no agency here. Fuck this. I surrender. I'm going to go play video games. I'm going to go just check out.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No.
But that surrender of just, wow, this is all bigger than me. I don't know where any of this is going. I'm not in control here.
Yep.
But I can be in partnership with what's going on. I get to have a say only in, like that quote you read from Michael Singer, like how do I do the next thing in front of me? Do I show up fully for this conversation?
Yes.
Do I show up fully for, having breakfast with my wife?
Yeah.
Do I show up fully for this next moment? Do I show up fully? Like one of the things we're also challenged by is our home situation, right? We bought a house in Austin at the tippy top of the market.
Yes.
And we're not in a position to hold on to that house. So we're trying to sell it when the market's kind of I don't even know if it's at the bottom. It may not be.
Hopefully not.
But we're going to lose a lot of money on that house if we sell it. Right? And I don't even know if we should sell it now. Like we've been talking, because of the fires in LA, we don't even necessarily have a place to go back to. Right. So it's like, talk about just day by day.
Wow.
And again, we're human. We want certainty. We want to know that I'm safe tomorrow.
What do you rent it for? Maybe I'll move in. I'm just kidding.
Believe me, in Austin, you could get cheaper than what our mortgage is. That's part of the problem.
Oh,
we can't even rent it for what we're paying
you're
in our
paying
mortgage.
The mortgage. Oh, sweetie.
So we've 18 of these, Allana, over the last 4 years. Just like that's just one
of 18. The
house sitch is just one of 18 like significantly painful, disorienting events. And though again, it's like I have a choice.
Yeah.
I can just descend into despair and rail against the world, or I can let's be willing, just do the next thing.
Do the next thing.
And it is
with
interesting.
All your heart.
With all my heart, and I never succeed. Or if I succeed at the all my heart part, I touch it for a moment, and then my humanness emerges, or whatever,
do your best.
My kinks, whatever.
Sure. Wow.
But that's a quick snapshot of
where you're at.
Life.
Holy, thank you. I read it 15 years ago as well, the Surrender Experiment, and I listened to it about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and I heard it as if for a first time. I had so much heartbreak and wisdom over time that I could hear it differently than I ever could before. And this idea that I'm not in charge.
Yeah.
I'm left third dimension. I'm not in charge. And but if I totally give up and don't even care, as you said, just watch video games or whatever I would do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play video games, but I would do something. That's not it either.
No.
It's can I let go, surrender, it's almost like flying blind.
Yeah.
Like, can I trust that my inhale will come? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
If I wait long enough, the divine will breathe me.
Right. Right.
And if it doesn't, I guess I'm not needed here anymore.
Right.
So if I break it all the way down to that, okay, so something's doing that.
Yeah.
And then I go all the way to like, I was sharing when I was on your podcast, these PSIs, these psychedelic somatic integration immersions that I do with my clients. There was a gentleman who was so mad at God that his mother died, and now his wife has health issues, and he had suppressed it and was drinking. And I said, okay, so here we go. We're going to feel it now. And he literally got the pillow and started throttling God's neck, got it all the way through. And I'm just like, let her rip.
Yeah.
And he had so much to be upset about, losing his mom. And now is he going to lose? He won't lose his wife, but like it triggers the wound.
Stressful all the
It's
same.
stressful and it triggers the wound, and just getting it all the way through. And by allowing to experience the emotion, allowed him to get all the way back to zero, where the wisdom of the embodiment of the surrender experiment lives. I will never know the whole plan.
Yeah.
And this universe has my back and is guiding me if I pay attention.
Yeah.
And to the degree that I show up, it'll show up. And to the degree I do it half-assed, the universe can't. It's just a vibration.
Yeah.
It's not trying to withhold.
Yeah.
But if we don't show up, it can't either.
Yeah.
So how can he's a father, how can I live fully as a father and as a husband and give my gifts, not know the plan, feel the feelings of what it's like for all this mayhem going on in the planet, and still keep my heart open and love well in this moment, give well in this moment with, and I'm perfectly imperfect. I'm flawed, right?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Of course.
Wow.
I had this experience in Egypt where I went after I got out of the military many, 25 years ago. I went to Egypt. I lived with a family there for a couple months, and they had a car. They called this car a Subaru. It took me about a month to realize it was a Subaru. It was a Subaru. With the Subaru. We're going to the Subaru. Oh, that's a weird brand. Never heard of that before.
That's so cute.
Fucking Subaru. Okay, God. Anyway, this car, like at the time, this was 25 years ago. I mean, I don't know. It's like all the cars in Egypt were just junkers.
Yep.
They were not well-kept cars.
Wow.
Anyway, we're driving on the highway. I'm in the back seat. I would never drive in Egypt. It's way too chaotic. I could not figure it out.
Giza?
We were in Cairo.
Cairo.
And we're driving. And the dad of the family that I'm staying with he's driving the car. And then all of a sudden the car just slams into the median on a highway going around the city. And what had happened was, thank God there was a median. We would have crossed into oncoming traffic. But we slammed into the median. And as it so happened, the steering wheel came disconnected from the axle somehow. So you could just spin it like a top all of a sudden.
Oh, my God.
And I remember the lesson that I took from that is, because that had never occurred to me that a steering wheel, I always thought I'm driving or whoever's driving is in control of the car.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
No. You're only in control of the car so long as the steering wheel remains attached to the part that does the steering.
Yes.
Any moment, that can come undone,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden now you're left with, I only had the illusion, or at least the temporary, illusion as though I'm controlling what's going on here. And I remember that was such a profound teaching moment for me, a lesson that I keep with me to this day, because it's tempting to think when things are going well,
I did that.
I'm crushing this. Look at how good I'm driving my life.
That's right.
Again, not to say I'm not playing a role. Of course I am. I mean, you still got to steer.
Sure.
There still is a role I'm playing. I'm in partnership with the car. But the moment the car decides, life decides, we're going to separate the axle from and see how you do. Right?
18 times.
18 freaking times.
Yeah.
So, I keep that lesson close to me because it's a reminder that even whether things are going bad or good, it's not my fault, and I'm a partner in this.
Yeah.
And my only role is to figure out, well, what is my part to play here?
Yeah.
And then just play that as best I can, knowing that even that I'm not going to get. So I don't even know what the hell that means. Perfect.
No.
But just show up. So, there is a profound freedom in surrender, but it's also, I think, what makes it so terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I think the real freedom, like not just the, freedom to say whatever the hell I want.
No.
That's not freedom.
Yeah.
Not really. True liberation, there's this great quote from Krishnamurti. True liberation is freedom from our automatic responses. That's true freedom, right? To be
awake.
To be awake, to not be in our just conditioned responses.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, that's wow. Talk about, and we're in our conversation we did before recording this one on my podcast, Bridging Connections, which you can go hear with Allana Pratt on my podcast, Bridging Connections. Yeah. We talked about enlivenment.
Yes, yes.
Right, and enlivenment is it can be a scary place.
Totally.
Because all the things can come up.
And they will.
And they will. And what my wife and I are going through, it's a roller coaster ride. I mean, it's like tomorrow there's a piece of news that we could get that's one of those 18 things that we've been struggling with for a number of years. It could it could literally happen today or tomorrow or in a month. We will get a piece of news that is going to either be cause for profound celebration and release from this struggle that we've been in for 5-10 years, or it could go the other way and say, sorry, back into the into the crisis, back into this the tension of this, whatever this thing is, and we'll be gutted. It would just be just heartbreak that we've been carrying. So. Whew, deep breaths.
So you're in this. So I'm single, and you're in this together.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are going through it. Whatever, all of us have our own thing going through it. Some days it's really nice for me that I don't have to answer to anybody.
Sure, I know. Believe me.
And there's other days
where
there's nobody to hold me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you know what I did the other day?
Yeah.
I have in my calendar feminine practice from 9:30 to 10:30 at night, like an appointment with myself. I've even cleared the coffee table out of the living room, and it has this faux sheepskin rug in the center, and it's got candles. So there's quite the invitation to just lie your ass down and relax.
That's nice.
But I don't. Maybe literally I calculated maybe twice out of the last 6 weeks have I actually done my feminine practice. Because there's nobody there to say, get your ass down and relax.
Right.
So I'll just
I'll
just text all my clients and make sure they're fine. And it's already tomorrow in the Philippines and India. I'll just text my staff. And maybe I'll have a bath and a glass of wine. Okay, I think I can do that. But there's something about letting Earth hold me and imagining it's Earth or the divine or my man, or whatever, or a sheep, sheepskin rug, whatever. Just relax. I won't do it. I'm still blah, blah, blah. So I literally, I probably could find it and read it to you. I'll probably start fucking crying if I do it. But I asked my staff, one of them in the Philippines, who's just such a mother to me, and I said, and I sent her this whole message, and I said, I need help. I'm doing a really, really shitty job at taking care of myself. At the end of your shift, I need you to tell me to go lie down on the sheepskin rug. Because if you don't, I'm just going to keep working and burn out. And I'm too scared to just do it myself. And I need someone to tell me what to do. I've got to find this because it was this. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to cry, but here we go. I'm going to cry. The day is done, Allana. Take a deep breath and exhale. Let the weight of today melt away. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. You don't have to hold it all together. You're safe. You're loved. You can rest. God is already working in the places you cannot see. He is holding every worry, every unanswered question, every tender part of your heart. Release this day into God's hands. Let him take the things you carried and the things you tried so hard to fix. Let him fill you with peace and wrap you in his love. Close your eyes. Feel the warmth of grace wrapping around you. You're not alone. Sleep well. Let go, Allana. God's holding you. That's my fucking staff.
Yeah.
She's an angel.
That sent that back to you?
Yeah.
For you to read to yourself?
That's what she sent me to read at the end of every day.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And then I read it, Bryan, and I just started crying.
Yeah.
Because I don't have someone that says that to me.
Yeah.
So I don't have anyone to account to either.
Yeah.
I don't have anyone to fight with. or anybody you want to make love with. I mean, there's all pros and cons, left, right, and center.
Sure.
What's the blessing
Yeah.
of going through all of this with Silvy?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, honestly, it's a blessing that I have to remind myself of
Maybe that's why I'm asking.
often, because I think a lot of men, I don't know how this is for women so much, but I know a lot of men, once we get the thing that we thought we wanted, we're off to the next thing.
Right.
You know, okay, box check, whether it's promotion, job, business, whatever, trophy.
But the masculine in me
wife.
is the same way.
Yeah, check it. I don't even want to celebrate it. Just done.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, okay.
And all I ever longed for, I mean, truly, my biggest ambition in life was to just meet the woman that I knew I was destined for.
Nice. You did it.
And I fucking did it. She is an amazing human being.
Totally.
And we get each other.
Yeah.
It isn't perfect only in the sense that we're human, and our crunchy humanness, it crunches. It's fine.
Sure.
It's so tempting though to be like, good, got that handled. What are all the other problems in my life that need to be solved?
Yeah.
Right, and be off and running. And that is a fool's errand to think that I'm going to get somewhere. I'm going to figure. Even as you're reading that letter to self, right, that was given to you.
Yeah.
What was coming up for me is just that. My God, I mean, we've lived 50 years, and we still go to bed thinking, oh, I'm just this short, or there's a little bit more, or every day I experience that, and it's like I know that I'm going to experience it again tomorrow. It doesn't matter what I accomplish today. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and feel the exact same angst of I'll never get it done.
Yeah.
And so I often have to remind myself, Silvy and I, when we go to bed at night, we can be up for an hour just playing, being goofy, being ridiculous. We have that classic tension where I tend to want to turn the light off immediately, and she wants to keep it on as long as possible to keep the connection going. I'm like, the day is done, babe. Can we just close it down? She's like, no, this is where it gets good.
Oh, you're so lucky.
And we both know that. We both know that happens every night. She's mourning the end of the day, and I'm grateful for it because I'm tired. But this is the gift. It's that moment. And I think a lot of couples. I've worked with couples where that moment at night derails them because they don't know how to hold that tension. They don't know how to hold the difference. That I guess one way you could language it is that kind of that feminine yearning to connect, and the masculine yearning to bring this to an end.
Yes.
To complete.
Yeah, die.
Right? To die. It's end it. Put curtains down, baby. I gave it all. I gave all I got. Over.
Yep.
I got no more. You want to do what? Connect? The fuck? Why didn't we do that at dinner? Anyway, so, with Silvy, we just have a great partnership in knowing that's present, that tension is present, and we each lean in, and we just, in there is the tussle, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Even as it's often hard for me to embrace it.
Yeah.
It's that's why I say I have to remind myself, because it's too easy to just go, yeah, got it. And off to what else? What don't I have that I think I need? Right. And that's insane making. So all that said, oh my God, it is I just am in awe sometimes of the fact that I get to spend my life with that woman. And it is not lost on me that there will come a day when that ends. Yeah. And it could be today. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right? And so, and it's like on one level, I'm steeling myself for that. By stealing, I mean like preparing. But that's no good. I can't live in that place. And the other, I'm just grateful for the moments that we have. Again, even when they're crunchy, even when we have our little snappy moments, and 18 things one or two of those would have ruined most couples.
Yes.
Would have really, and then not that they didn't put stress on us, but the fact that we are as strong as we are,
Yeah.
and that I believe we've used those experiences, or at least we've allowed them to bring us closer, to be even more devoted and not to each other's egos, you know. I mean, one of the things we're exploring a lot is power, how to share power. It's one of the kind of the messages and the teachings that we're starting to bring forward as a couple, how to share power in relationship. And so I think, you know, our dance has been a beautiful learning for both of us about how to share power. We're both very strong, opinionated, you know, stubborn, control freaks. And so it's really, I'm very blessed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So already painfully delivered, but you're seeing gifts of these 18 losses or grieving. Is that one of the gifts on the other side is you're learning how to share power, and learning another one is grateful, to not take each other for granted, to be in the present moment of gratitude.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
On your podcast, it was near Valentine's Day, and I got to do that Fox News segment for Valentine's things. Yeah. And then you stole my idea, and I'm like, that's totally cool. But maybe we can practice. Could you tell me? So if it's like, if you want to give her 12 flowers.
Yeah.
Have her favorite, whatever.
Okay.
What are the first 6 things that you would say that you love and appreciate about her?
Her incredibly generous just spirit. She's so giving of her spirit, of her energy to people. She's so warm and nurturing, kind, and just, I mean, anyone comes into our home, like she just wants them to be welcomed and loved, and I so appreciate that.
So good. 2.
She's just so goofy. People don't see this side of her. She's so ridiculous in the best ways. Yeah. She's like Kristen Wiig, you know, the actress, the comedian Kristen Wiig, Saturday Night Live. Goofy, like hot and goofy.
Hot and goofy. That's the best combo.
It's the best combo. She is so ridiculous. It's hilarious. Like just total goofball.
So good.
Yeah.
3.
I mean, also she just is radiant. Her smile is so, I'm enamored by how effortless her smile is. You know, it's not easy for me to smile, honestly. You know, it doesn't come easy. I've had to do a lot of work.
Yes.
I've had to work with even, you know, psychedelic mushrooms to connect to my laughter and to really bring joy through my body.
Wow.
And she's just this effortless, open, you know, and likewise, I mean, she can also, the tears that can come through her so effortlessly. I mean,
That's number 4. She can feel.
She feels, you know, the first time I ever met her, I felt like someone had just pushed me off a cliff into the deepest ocean. And it was because it's like I could feel the depth of what she's able to feel.
Whoa. So good.
Yeah.
5.
On our very first date, I had just come back from Australia, where at 5:30 in the morning, I was camping in the outback, middle of like absolutely nowhere. Yeah. And I heard this bird sing this beautiful melancholy song at like 5 in the morning under a full moon. And I recorded it for like 7 minutes. Well, I came back to the States and would share that with people. Everyone would listen to like 30 seconds of it and go, oh yeah, that's cool.
Nice bird.
Nice bird. Fun. Awesome. 30 seconds max. That's all, maybe 20.
Yeah.
I gave that to Silvy on our first date. She listened to all 7 minutes.
Depth.
I was like, whoa, I like this.
Yes,
So, you know, capacity to, again, be with nature, you know, and that's her love of nature.
Yeah. Is that 6, love or depth?
Let's call it 6.
Okay, that's 6. Okay, so that was that's amazing. 3 things that really turn you on. And it could be sexually turn you on, alive in your purpose, but like she dials you up. 3 things.
Yes, that turn me on. Well, I mean, she's incredibly supportive of my work, you know, working with men, and she's, you know, one of my biggest cheerleaders and celebrators, and so that. She has the best skin and the best voice. Like sensually, I'm very sensual oriented.
Yeah.
Just the sensual experience of her. I don't know if she's going to be mortified if she hears me saying this out loud, but I mean, her voice is like, it's a lullaby. Oh. You know, and her skin is so soft. It's just, oh my God. It's just fantastic. So just to be in, sensually connected to her is just
Divine.
Divine.
So beautiful.
Yeah, divine.
One more.
I'm going to be mindful here because she's going to watch this. And so whatever.
No, this is such a great, we are so great at role modeling right now of what this would really be in anyone's life. They can literally do this for their partner and take
It's
the time
great.
along with us, right?
Yeah.
Or for themselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of us really slow down to take the time to do this?
And I also want to, also call out that at the beginning of our relationship, I wouldn't have hesitated to just say whatever I had to say without any concern for the impact it might have on her.
But we're moving into the 5D now with which is, it's a win-win.
So I'm being mindful about what I say.
Correct.
Because there are certain things that I know if I said them, even if they're honoring, even if they're beautiful, this or that, she would not appreciate me sharing that.
According to her truth.
According to her sensitivities, her truth, her experience.
Yeah.
And again, in the beginning of my relationship, we were talking about this word freedom.
Right.
I would have valued, say yes, I'm a man, and I'm a writer, and I'm a truth teller. I got to say what if you have a problem with that, that's not my problem.
But that's an unconscious.
Oh my God, it's an automatic pattern, really.
Right.
That's actually me railing against my fathers who wouldn't hear my voice.
Right. Thank you.
That's what that is for me.
Yeah.
It's me. My wife all of a sudden becomes my dad, who doesn't allow me to have my voice. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Dad/wife.
Like you haven't had that fight before.
Exactly. So, now it's like we've been together for 10 years and now, it's a beautiful dance. Now I want to honor her, but I want to do it in a way that I know she'll feel honored.
Right.
Actually feel honored.
This is another great level of teaching we're doing right now. So good. So as you feel into the we of it, not the me of it, what is one more thing that turns you on, enlivens you, awakens your spirit?
I would say just the way that she looks at me. The way that she looks at me. May every man and woman find a partner that looks at you the way Silvy looks at me.
What does it do inside?
It first off, it often makes me very uncomfortable
That's
because
adorable.
of my own kind of avoidant, trepidations around intimacy.
She's your medicine.
100% my medicine. So often, I can be overwhelmed by it, and it's the thing that it's my medicine. Yeah. It's what I long for.
Yes.
Because I didn't really have that growing up. I didn't have the nurturing, adoring. I think you talked, maybe it was on my podcast, you talked about dancing with Gabe when you was younger.
Yeah.
I didn't know that moms dance with their kids until social media came along. And I saw all these moms, they would do these little dances with their kids. And I was like,
who does that?
That's a thing?
Oh my God. My girlfriend had the most beautiful compliment of me the other day. She said, I didn't know that motherhood could look like motherhood until I saw you and Gabe. She had never been raised like that either.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So, so Silvy looks at me, the way that she looks at me is a way that just, wow, I got to take a deep breath and allow that in because it's a beautiful, shining of love and embrace.
She's reflecting your glory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, last three. What would you like to own, apologize for, ask for forgiveness for, clean up, make up for the damage done? Any other ways you want to look at it?
Well, I'd like to think that, there's nothing that she wouldn't already know about. I think that the thing that I regularly, own and I don't know apologize for, but I own in the sense that I know that I struggle to give her the level of emotional connection that most women will crave, and she certainly does. That it's hard for me to meet her there, and I will in some way often anyway fail to meet her there. Right, that's one, and again, it's not a surprise to her. It's part of our dialogue, and she's aware. And I think again, all relationships have to deal with those disappointments.
Sure. Two perfectly imperfect people.
Exactly.
Both here to give each other grace and to awaken the best in each other. Yeah.
That's one. What's another?
You didn't take the dog out to go pee. We've already discussed this prior to the
Okay, you know what? Let's go there. That happened today.
Yeah.
Did we say it on this podcast?
You said
or
it
was
on your podcast.
On my podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so the little squabble we had this morning, where I, tried to get her to not take the dog outside in the rain to track mud back into our house because we're trying, and she was like, "The fuck, man!
Gonna make a puddle here soon.
Back off! Like, what's the big deal?" And then we got a little squabble. I apologize for not just trusting her, letting her run that show. When she told me she got it. Okay, fair enough. That's a good one. Good catch.
One last one.
And I mean, this is one again that I want to both apologize for, but also, it's like I see the perfection in it, but I carry heartbreak around it at the same time. Is, we left LA in 2021. Mm-hmm. She would never have left LA if not for my deep, 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 deep need or longing to leave LA.
Yeah.
And that created some repercussions, that we're still dealing with, that we're still confronted with, that are very painful and challenging. And again, I trust that we'll get to the other side of all this, and I've expressed this to her, but I it's like I know we had to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't make her do it. I mean, in the end, I let it be her decision ultimately, but she knew my position.
Yeah.
That we need to go. So, again, sharing power. This has been a rich journey for us in sharing power.
Yeah.
With two people that often have very different visions for how things are supposed to go.
Wow.
That's tugging at life in that way, but I do feel deep, deep, deep sadness for, the losses, some of the things that she's experienced as a result. That, again, it's like it's paradox. She'll acknowledge all the growth and all the goodness that has come out of it for her, and all the paths it took her on.
Yep.
But she can also, hold that, it was devastating and it caused other loss and other sadness and other, lost time and all this stuff. And so, I think when we come into another person's life, I think that's one of the things we all in some way are going to be a wrecking ball in someone else's life.
That's really a great way of saying it.
And
yeah.
I don't think most of us don't want that.
Yeah.
But to some degree, that's I'm sure there are couples out there for whom they just fit right in and carry on.
I don't know.
I've heard of it. Unicorns. I've heard of unicorns. They're out there. They got to be out there. But I think overwhelmingly, many of us, we're going to be wrecking balls in each other's lives, and there's no avoiding that. I think there's just learning to have compassion for it and trying to figure out, okay, how do we, how do we create this new world that in a way the ruin of our of our coming together is, okay, there's a new thing to be created.
But that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like, it's not the old transactional of I'm broken, you're broken, let me control you so I can get what I want from you, right? Yeah. It's if you're not perfect but whole, and you're gonna keep bumping into each other. It's called this beautiful, elegant figure eight, but the impact in the beginning is the wrecking ball. Yeah. But it scoops you deeper. Yeah. Like sorrow scoops out more space for joy. Yeah. Right? So I would want someone to help wreck the identity that I think I am, right, or the control that I think I have. Like, I'd want that from someone who's devoted to me. And I wouldn't surrender to anyone else except for the divine to do that. So you get to practice with the divine in the flesh of the goddess Silvy, right?
Totally, yeah.
So
I do, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think, one of the questions I think people really need to, I don't need to, but I think it's helpful to be clear about when you enter a relationship with someone is why. Why are you entering this? Why are you doing relationship?
Right.
And there's a million answers. None of them are right or wrong. But if you're not clear on why you're doing this,
right,
it's very likely that the things are going to come up and you're going to be like, yeah, why am I doing this?
Right.
I don't know. I'm out.
Right.
I don't want to. I didn't sign up for this.
Yes.
Well, but if you're clear about why you're doing it, and I know that my why is, in simple terms, like, I'm here to serve love, not serve a woman's ego,
Right.
not serve my ego, serve love. And that there's a whole world of
Totally.
inquiry and exploration inside of what that even means.
That's
Right.
really good. And that's not even serving Silvy. That's love itself.
It's love itself.
Yes, yes.
It's bigger than me. It's bigger than her.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and our relationship brings me into confrontation with that question daily. What does it mean to serve love?
Right now.
Even right now.
Yeah.
When she's wanting that, I'm wanting this. Deep breath. What would it mean to serve? It's like, what would serve we? I
Yes.
think we talked about that
Yes.
also in our earlier podcast. Like,
Yeah.
if we're going to create magic together. I remember when I was 26, I told a girlfriend, just as we were entering a period of prolonged chaos together, I said, I want to have a relationship that's magic. I used that exact word. That's pretty much all I said. Allana, I had no idea what I was talking about. None. I thought I did.
Yeah, sure.
I just, what it meant at the time was, I want to have a relationship where just all my needs are met and I feel amazing all the time and you feel amazing all the time and it's just magic.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
That's what I meant.
I'm sure it was.
That is not
Sweet little naive thing.
sweet. That is fairy tale. No.
Nope.
What I've since learned is magic really means is living that question. What would it mean? What does it look like to serve love?
Yes.
To serve we, not just her and not just me.
Yes, yes, yes.
And there are no black and white answers. You typically in that, there's no easy answers anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a living inquiry.
Totally.
And it's an enlivening place to be because I don't ever quite know.
Yeah.
And so.
But what a noble North Star.
Yeah.
How, as we complete for our yearly podcast with each other, that's become just such a delight for me. How does that lead into the sharing of power? 'Cause to me, there's a lower dimensional power, power over. There's a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
And there's a higher fifth dimensional power, potency might even be a better word, where it's a win-win. It's a we. So how does being devotion to love shift? How has it shifted your power dynamics since you guys met till now?
We're still figuring out how to articulate that because it's messy. It's messy. I think even just like our moving around, leaving LA, coming to Austin, leaving Austin, going to Maryland, which is where I'm from. We tried to,
right.
And then leaving Maryland, like even that, some of those moments were fraught with, one of us saying, I need to do X, and the other saying, well, I need to do Y.
Yeah.
And us just being rooted in each of our truths.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really painful to be in for a time. And, how do you share power when the two of you are completely resolved towards different outcomes?
What would love do then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, when we left, so here's a way that I practiced that when we left Los Angeles, I say that it is the first time because we had to leave again because of these fires.
Yes.
But anyway, when we left the first time, after we met there, we'd already been together for 6 or 7 years, right, in LA. And we were in that similar place. She's like, I am not leaving. I can't leave. And I'm like, well, I fucking can't stay. So here we are, and we sat in that place for like 6-9 months.
Wow.
Just rooted and really struggling. And I remember at one point I got clear. This like, okay, I know how I need to approach this. And I didn't have the language of sharing power then, but in retrospect, I really get that this was a way of doing that dance. And I told her, I said, babe, look, I want you to know that I am clear that this is not our home for long. I'm just clear. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know. But that's the clarity that I have. We're not supposed to be here for long term, to raise a family here. This is not our home. And I will stay here with you as long as you need to stay here until you also are aligned with me in that. Right? So in a way, it's like I owned my truth and I
Gave the gift of patience.
gave the gift. Yeah, it's a great way of putting it. Gave the gift of patience, gave the gift of, look, this is my truth, but I'm going to stay with you in this and not beat you up about it,
Right.
but like just,
Or force you.
I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do.
Nor deny my truth.
Nor deny my truth.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just sit in that. And I'll tell you, it was not even a couple months went by when she was like, okay, I get it. It's time. We need to go. And we're going to go to Austin.
That's such a great example also of what love looks like in the masculine as spaciousness
Yeah.
and depth and presence and total truth.
Yeah.
Because there's no pressure. There's no pressure on her.
Yeah.
So she could sit in her own
Yeah.
truth, right?
I certainly tried to not let there be, I didn't want to put pressure on her,
Or
but I needed
manipulate
to.
or dominate, but you
Exactly.
you can't withhold either. And isn't that then to me that makes room for the divine to get in there and work magic
Yeah.
in
Yeah. And by the way, it happened in the reverse. You know, now we're in Austin for, I don't know, 2 years or so, and it's just not working. You know, for a lot of reasons. So those 18,
Yeah.
some of those things are happening.
Yeah.
And we're, you know, she needs to be near her family, right, in LA, and she's clear. I don't want to go back to LA. Again, here we are, once again, rooted. Fuck no, I need to go, you know. Fuck no, I won't go. Hell no, whatever that 60s war chant. You know. Anyway, there we are again.
Yeah.
And just sitting in that, and I had to take a lot of deep breaths and surrender into the reality that my wife does need her family. She needs her family more than I need to stay in Austin. You know, and at some point, and look, it took us months. Let's say it took me months to soften,
Yes.
to be able to embrace that.
Yeah.
You know, and it finally came through as a, okay, we'll go.
Wow.
We'll go back. You know, and again, that's why I say it's messy.
Yeah.
It's not there's not a simple formula.
Yeah.
A lot of it, I think, is being willing to be in the tension of opposites.
Yes.
Without having it to move, without needing it to change.
Yes. This is so good. This is a space I want to really acknowledge you both for. There's no quick solution. There's no quick fix. You don't get the dopamine hit. You don't get the thing, right? You have to sit and go deeper and go deeper and break open and not know the outcome and just stay present and present with each other and be in this. I'm so grateful we are completing this particular conversation like that because people just want the 3 tips to like have a happy life and be, like, it's not real. No. I so appreciate you being real.
Thank you.
And sharing what's real. And you, to me, you just get deeper and deeper every time we connect.
Thank you.
So the work is working. You doing the work in this devotional relationship is working.
Thank you, Allana.
And thank you for the gift that you are to this planet and all the impact that you make with men and the shifting into the new, say it again, the new name of the
Bridging Connections with Bryan Reeves.
So the podcast and working with couples as well. And then the two of you are going to be, I don't know when we're going to air this. It might be too late, but aren't you going to Canada for that event as well?
Yeah, we're speaking in the beginning of April.
Yeah.
At a really beautiful conference called the Real Love Ready In Bloom Conference.
Yeah.
The Gottmans are going to be
Gottmans
there.
are there. Like that's.
Yeah, I know. We're pretty impressed with ourselves.
Yes, you should be. You
Share
should
the stage with those people.
Yeah, well, you've earned it.
Thank you.
Not ego earned it.
Yeah, thank you.
But you've walked through enough 18 fires, right? Like to speak from a place of knowing and embodiment and a work in progress. It's such a beautiful balance, right?
That's right. Always.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank
perfectly
you.
imperfect.
Thank you.
Okay. So, BryanReeves.com. Get his book. Watch our podcast on your podcast. And last words, last thoughts, last feelings from your heart.
You know, I've met you early on in my journey, even as a coach and doing relationship work, and you know, I just appreciate, you know, in a way, I feel like, you know, we've held each other in a way over the years, you know, from afar a lot. Yeah. But I reflect back on just, I think, you know, some of the conversations that we had. Allana, there's some things that I said on some early podcasts with you that I'm just like, oh my God, I had no fucking idea what I was talking about. It's just like, oh my God.
Did I really say that? Is that really out on the internet?
That really come out of my mouth. And you know, and it's just fun to get to, you know, kind of
grow old together
in this way, and hopefully a little bit wiser. So yeah. Maybe in 15 years we'll be looking back at this conversation and
going, oh my God, did they say that? Probably.
So it's been it's a real pleasure to know you this way.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, love you
Thank
too.
you. Yeah. And so for those of you that have been watching, I really encourage you. I hope a lot of different moments have enlivened something that might have been dormant inside of you for this enlivenment that we've talked about, but also maybe the feeling of a feeling you've been pushing away. So I'd like you to take an action. I'd like when this is done, you don't just turn it off and get going. At least give yourself a minute, just a minute, to feel into what did this conversation, why did I listen to it? What did it inspire? And then do it. Obviously, go to bryanreeves.com. I'm sure he has lots of lovely offerings there. Get his book. That's one action we can do for sure. But allow some other action, maybe a conversation with yourself or another, something, so that our love continues to bless your beautiful life. Thank you for being with us on Intimate Conversations. All my love. All my love. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. Wasn't that amazing? Isn't he amazing? If you don't have his book yet, get it. If you're not following his podcast yet, follow it. So one of my favorite parts about that conversation was his willingness to not just own his shortcomings and work on them, grow and evolve and create solutions without attachment, and they can morph and change over the beautiful 10-year relationship that he and Silvy has. And ladies out there, isn't it like, I think a lot of guys think when they own their shortcomings, we're going to be like, oh, you're so awful. No. It makes us feel safe, that we can trust you. It makes us respect you. We're in it together. It encourages us to own our shortcomings. It deepens intimacy. Like, don't you respect him more? At least I do. Pretty sure you do. And the next thing is his, just willingness to clean up messes, willingness to go, okay, how are we going to share our power here? You make these decisions, I'll make these decisions, and these we're going to have to find a way to make it work for both of us. This is something I think a lot of couples don't talk about in a conscious relationship where we're not like the traditional, I'm in charge all the time, you just tell me what to do kind of thing. I really, really respect how they share this. And you know the stages. By the time when the podcast was filmed, I don't think they'd yet been on the stage with the Gottmans. But since this outro from the podcast, they've been on the stage alongside the Gottmans. So like, whoa, their partnership is at that level to be on that stage with what works. So I really want you to inquire more into what he does, who he works with. He generally has a lot of work for men, but I know he also works with couples, and Silvy's a therapist too. So they're a couple that walks the walk, and I really respect them for this. And I'm so pleased. I don't even know what number this is for Bryan being on the podcast, but he's a real, honest, authentic man who does his work, keeps showing up, and keeps leading with love. So please follow him, get his book, do all the things one does with the incredible Bryan Reeves. And if you're watching this podcast and you're single, like me at the time of this, I'm single, we still lead with love, okay? We still practice, how are we going to honor where all of our different relationships, how are we going to navigate power? Do we take the time to slow down and feel inside and tell our truth? Instead of what would ego do to try to be pretending we're fine when we're not, or not letting anybody in, or things we can do when we get overly independent when we're single. At least I'll speak for myself. Can we still surrender, like Bryan was saying? Can we still open and be in partnership, although it might not be like romantic? Like, I have incredible partnerships with my staff, incredible partnerships with my clients, incredible partnerships with my friends, incredible partnerships with the divine, incredible partnership with my body. I'm looking at my cat right here. Incredible partnership with my little girl Muffin. So practice leading with love in partnership. Don't wait for a partner to start practicing, because you're going to cultivate as many skills as you can until you meet that person. And then don't think you did it wrong when you meet somebody and then all of a sudden you're like, I thought I had some skills here. This is hard. There's a whole new, I kind of see it like a DNA spiral. There's a whole new curriculum of unearthed issues that are going to come up when you're in a relationship that can't happen when you're sitting all by yourself. So it's not a wrongness. Do your work now and do your work when you're in this relationship. As Bryan so beautifully expresses, he had done so much work before Silvy and so much in the first parts of their relationship, and they're still doing work. And isn't that refreshing that we never get there? It is a lifestyle. Personal growth is a lifestyle. Leading with love is a value choice. It's not like you just do it to get the partner. You every day. That's the name of his book, like choose her. So choose, I say yes, choose yourself. Choose to show up and be your best self. Choose to forgive yourself. Choose to honor yourself, and then bring that relationship with yourself into your partnership. Love you. Thank you for being with us. Look forward to seeing you next time on Intimate Conversations.